start out. I hope you have a wonderful time celebrating with your loved ones, your friends, your family, and stay safe, okay? Um, I tried to do this reading 3 times, so I actually wanted to get the video for you and Virgos out first because it is your birthday time, and I had a lot of technical difficulties when I did your reading. So the first 3 readings, the attempts were just, it didn't work out. And so in the process of doing, this is the 4th reading. This is the 4th time that I'm doing the spread for you guys. Um, I have a lot of just messages that are coming through, and I feel like it's messages that were blocked from the previous reading, and they're all coming back in. So I'm going to be relaying more than 4 messages for you guys, and I hope it's helpful either way. And then we'll pull out the cards for this month, and then we'll go into the reading, okay? First of all, I see this energy here about children having to take time off work in order to take care of children. So I feel like some of the kids might be getting sick for those of you who are parents or who are taking care of younger people. Okay, so I feel like under the age of 12, they might be sick. They might be dealing with some issues as it pertains to like ear infections, health, toothache, and sinus congestion even. And I do feel that they're a little bit needy, so they're going to need you to be extra attentive. They're going to need, mom and dad in the picture, or they're going to definitely need some adult supervision and somebody there to stay home to take care of them. Okay, so keeping a closer eye on children, making sure that they're clean, washing their hands, and taking extra measures when it comes to staying clean, staying sanitized, and keeping the house environment germ free. And it is not something that occurs frequently in the summertime, but I do feel you might want to take extra precautions, like using hand sanitizers and things like that. I feel like that's going to be crucial. And if you're going to a public space with little ones, make sure they wash their hands as soon as they get home. Okay. The second thing coming through here is I feel like some of you have old people from your job, supervisors, manager, whoever, they're calling you to come back to their work environment. I feel like this might be a good opportunity for you to revisit that option, to if it's available for you, revisit the option, because I feel like it can be very good for you. Okay? Others of you, I feel like you're heavily thinking about purchasing property with a partner. You definitely should look for this month, but I feel like, in terms of contracts and things like that, it's not highly supported to finalize contracts or to sign new contracts, and especially during a Mercury in retrograde, which is going to run until the energy last, 2 months before and 2 months after. I'm sorry, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the Mercury retrograde cycle. So beneficial for you. It's going to be more in your favor. Okay. For others of you, the message I'm hearing here is they mention gift economies, and they mention, is this a good thing for you, or is this detrimental to your income generating capabilities? Okay, what I feel is for many of you, you are giving away for free your services or the products, or you're giving away your free time. And so, for example, you might be a business owner, and you render a service to, a friend or somebody that and they're like, oh, I can't really afford to pay you, but here's a crate of really, really good wine. Can you accept that as payment? And you, on the one hand, you feel bad, and on the other hand, you're like, okay, well, it seems like an equivocal exchange, right? So then you take that. And they're mentioning that it's okay to do that once in a while, and especially if the other person is completely in a jam. But you want to be very careful about giving away your services, or especially not being very clear and holding, a standardized method of payment for your services, because you need to be a lot more clear and a lot more I guess like strict when it comes to what services you're rendering and what you're getting in return, so that you can be very clear about your accounting practices, so that you can be very clear about every month to have like, a consistent, stable revenue stream, and where you know how much money is coming in. So they mention when it comes to barter economies or gift economies, just really think about what's at stake here, because it's setting up like patterns and it's setting up precedents for a path that you do not want to, continue on further down the line. So be careful about that, okay? I also feel for some of you being a little bit more strict, when it comes to giving away your services to friends. They're coming in and they're just like, oh, I need this, I need that, and expecting it for free. Okay, so just be a little bit more mindful, be more scrutinize whether or not it's worth it. Why aren't they able to pay you? You're still committing your time. You're still giving a service away. You're still doing something that needs to be paid back monetarily. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Other message that's coming through here is for those of you who are single, I do feel potential for new partners, feeling passion and chemistry with a relationship partner, okay? And then for others in a relationship, just I feel like not everybody, but a small minority of you, they mention here one partner bearing the financial burden in a relationship, and whether or not this is fair, whether or not if this is you or if this is the partner that you're dealing with, find ways to fix it. Imbalances as it comes to money, finances, and things like that. That's one of the major problems that will creep up and really, corrode a very good, stable relationship. If this is something that you are experiencing, contending with, or suspecting in your relationship, find ways to rectify it right away, okay? Because I feel like one partner might be falling on hard times, and the other partner is doing everything that they can to like bear the financial, I feel like it's financial nature, financial weight of the relationship, and it's starting to be too much. So just, balance things out, okay? At least express the appreciation to your romantic partner, or at least, make sure that I guess, you are getting the proper appreciation from them, okay? I'm getting this message here about those of you who are kind of like, if you have experienced a lot of blockages when it comes overall to finding new work, or you are in the service sector. They mention here thinking about self-employment when it comes to home-based businesses, such as running a childcare facility from home, uh, running a home care facility from home, so restructuring your home environment so that you can create the proper facility, the proper space, so that you can do something. I feel like it still requires paperwork, and there are elements of legality associated with that. But if you've been stuck and you've had some ideas floating around, they mention here childcare facilities, elderly daycare facilities, for example. I feel like that's going to be very beneficial for you guys, okay? Because you're very, very good at taking care of people, and you're also very good, like you might as well make some money from it. And if this is something that you find yourself doing, or thinking about, I feel like it's a good time for you to implement these plans. If you are also being blocked when it comes to work, they mention thinking about public sector jobs, okay? Public sector, governmental jobs. Some jobs that came to mind is Social Security. You can be like a benefits authorizer, you can be like a claims receiver, you can be a customer representative, but I feel like something in the public sector dealing with Social Security, dealing with social services, dealing with the public in some way, trying to fix problems that the the people, like the clients or are calling in about, I feel like that's going to be really good for you. And I feel that this is where you might really shine, and the work, you're going to find it very, very meaningful. Okay. Um, Let me see here. So we talked about home-based business. I wrote this down on the note on my phone. So the other thing they mentioned, company organizations are downsizing. For those of you who have experienced a little bit of downsizing, I feel like you might want to branch out and see what other job opportunities are available, because I do feel companies downsizing. I do feel the workplace environment is not as stable as it used to be. People might have already started leaving. You might feel this very tenuous, very tense energy in the air, very unsettled energy when you come to work, and you're just like, I wonder why that's happening. I feel there is some type of a spiritual nudge coming through to tell you, look around you. Are people leaving? And why are they leaving in large quantities, in large numbers? Is this work environment feasible? Are they downsizing? Are they contracting? Are they making some positions redundant? So you might really want to think about that, okay? So the last thing that I want to bring up here is regarding school education, especially higher education. I feel for some of you, if you're just going through the motions at work, and if you're in a field where it feels like the work is more for financial security, rather than it really stimulating your passion, rather than it being something that you find yourself in long term, you might want to really think about going back to school, returning to school to pursue a coursework that is a lot more appropriate for you, that is going to bring a lot more personal job satisfaction, personal enjoyment for you. I feel some people in school feeling a little bit discouraged about continuing. So I feel some students, and you could be whatever age group, but I feel like you're in school, you're feeling very, very discouraged. You're kind of like, you need to feel inspired again to finish it. You need something different. So I feel like you might be looking at, you feel like you're reassessing whether or not the coursework is appropriate for you. And I feel like one of the things that might be running through your mind is, do I need this degree, this extra course of education, or can I make the same amount of money? Am I making the right sacrifice? I guess like by delaying my income generating potential to be in school. I feel like there isn't a yes or no answer to this. It's going to depend on which situation you're in, but I feel some people feeling discouraged with school. I feel some people feeling like reassessing. Do I really want to do this coursework? Because there seems to me to be another shortcut, and I feel that you're a little bit, you're feeling a little bit burnt out with school. I also feel for a small minority, there might be a lack of professionalism in the school environment, and that's making you feel a little bit jaded. It's making you feel a little bit like, this might not be the program for me. Is there another program that I can look into where people are a little bit more, where it's a better fit? So I feel like there are a lot of things that you are going to need to re-examine for this month. And I also feel for many of you, it is birthday time. And a lot of the times around our birthday, we really, the reality of where we are starts to creep in, and the reality of where we want to be start to creep in. So we might feel like a lot of issues regarding, am I where I need to be? Am I where I want to be? Am I happy where I am right now? All of those things come in. And, we want to take the time here, and especially we have a Mercury in retrograde period this month for us to reassess, re-examine, and possibly redraw a new game plan for ourselves to get us to where we want to be and where we feel we need to be, okay? So a lot of reassessment, I feel, is happening overall for many of you. And I feel like it's a good start for this solar return chapter in your life, okay? So let me just go into the reading for you. First of all, let me talk about children, because this did come out here. So there is a situation here where I feel that many of you, um, they're saying making yourself emotionally available for children. Okay, some of you might be very, very wrapped up in career, very might be working overtime, might be working like really, really long hours, really long weeks, really, really long shifts. And I feel that your children, they're craving your presence, they're craving attention, and they're also they love you. They want to, have you around. So even if you don't communicate, like for children, it's really, really important to have adults around for them to feel secure and for them to feel loved and appreciated and all of these things. So if you are in a position where, the workload is piling on and you find yourself working a lot of long nights, having to hire a babysitter and not, finding the time here to be with your kids, I feel like the universe is telling you to slow down. I mentioned the first message about children getting sick. You need to make sure that they are getting proper nutrition. So if you are really pressed for time and you find yourself, doing a lot of TV dinners, doing a lot of like fast food, or even doing a lot of like box dinners, microwavable dinners, things that are very high in sodium and things that don't really have proper nutritional value. And if this is something that you're finding yourself doing on a regular basis, make sure you do meal prep, not only for the children, but also for yourself. Okay, they are growing. They need to have that vitamin, calorie, they need to have like proper nutritional intake. Okay, and they're very, very susceptible to getting sick, so just keep that in mind. And I feel that not only for the kids, even if you don't have children, I see that you are putting in a lot of overtime and you're feeling like you don't have a moment of peace to really have alone time, to really, do things that are a little bit more luxurious, decompress and unwind and just have a moment of peace and alone time. So I do feel this element coming through, and you want to be a little bit careful about that, okay? What I am also feeling as well is I feel like the kids, they just need a little bit more attention. So parents, if you have children, just make sure you carve the time for them, and especially reading for them to them at night. I feel like it's a really, really good stress reliever if you can spend the nighttime before the both of you go to sleep to read to your kids. I feel like it's good from their end. It's good for them mentally, academically, but also emotionally. It's also good for you so that you can decompress and unwind from the day's events. Okay, so that's for parents. And even if you have, younger siblings or even nephew and nieces that you're taking care of, I do feel that element is very, very crucial for you. I do feel here you are at a major, major crossroads in your life right now. First of all, we have here the Three of Wands, and this is a card that indicates waiting for opportunities to come in. This is kind of like us being on top of the hill, looking at all the opportunities, waiting for them, and especially assessing to see which is appropriate. I feel there is an element here about, professionally and work-wise. You feel like your efforts are, you feel like you might not be able to advance with the current company. You feel like there is lack of security emotionally, financially, or even professionally. There is a lack of it in the current work environment, and you're looking further afield or looking, casting a wider net to see if there are other opportunities for you. While you are doing this, I feel like a lot of you are also doing some major, major reassessment. Am I sufficiently, do I have all the skills that I need in order to qualify for that position, for example? And then on top of that, you might have a few options that are coming in. They might not be options that you feel has long-term potential for growth. They might just be jobs that stepping stone types of jobs, and they might not lead to a career. And you're just kind of like, I want a career. I want something that will be a major stepping stone. I want something that will provide, a major resume boost. I want something that is more, that will allow me to accumulate skills and to be in a position further down the line where I can, advance with the organization, advance with the company, because I feel like some of you feel a little bit stuck. Some of you even feel institutional or systemic barriers that are really blocking you in the current work environment, and you want you feel like it's not fair, you feel like it's too problematic, and you're just like, I'm going to need to look at other options. So this is the month where you are re-examining everything that's laid out on the table. And I honestly feel like some of you have a lot of work experience under your belt. But because you might not have the proper credential, just some of you might not have, gone through the traditional educational channel to get the associate's degree, to get the bachelor's degree, to get the master's degree or the PhD, and you feel like you're being blocked from some of these job opportunities, even though you have, the full skills, okay? And then I feel for others of you, your friends, your people that are working around you, they're surpassing you professionally, and a lot of them lack the traditional, the work experience, but you find them progressing, and you're just like, oh, I don't know if I need to go back to school to get that extra diploma in order to advance my career, because I feel like there's a little bit of a slowdown. And I feel many of you are heavily rethinking school, rethinking education, rethinking, like reassessing, do I need to go back and do it? And whether or not financially it's viable for you right now. But I do feel many of you will be, um, you know, revisiting school, revisiting higher education, returning to school to finish up that degree or to get that diploma in order to advance ahead in your career. Okay. What I'm also feeling as well, based on this card, we have the Justice card as well as the Nine of Swords. Okay. The Justice card usually indicates some type of a major, I want to say like court issue, some major legal issue, some major, I feel like things that are heavily related to paperwork and legality. That has been very, very problematic and troublesome for you and the people around you. I feel like some of you are in the midst of this and you are dealing with a situation where there might have been some type of medical malpractice, first of all. It created, a series of health issues. It affected your health. It also affected, I feel, some medical malpractice issues. It could even be like an elective surgery that went awry, okay? And I feel like you're getting some type of a settlement that's coming in, but the settlement, the amount that is settled upon, or the compensation, it feels almost as if you don't want to settle for it because you feel they need to be compensating you a lot more. And then for others of you, this is kind of like having multiple options, multiple routes, multiple strategies that you can take as it relates to some type of a legal issue, court case, and things like that. Some of you might even be dealing with, child custody and things like that. And you feel like the other person, the other parent might be unfit in the role of the mother or in the role of the father, in the maternal or paternal role, and you feel like you're better off, but the children has that emotional attachment to the other parent, and you're not really sure how to, resolve the issue. So, for example, you don't get along with your ex, and you feel like your ex does a lot of things that would qualify him or her to be a bad parent. But the children, they love both parents. And with children, they might not know these things. So you're trying to prove this to the court, but you're not able to prove that to the child. So I feel like you're kind of like on the fence about making this big sacrifice, like, should I just co-parent, or should I just like settle for the custody arrangement, even though I know that I don't want the other parent to be in the kid's life? So I feel like some major court issues that has you a little bit stressed out and a little bit strung out. I feel like it's coming back in. There might be some settlement. There might be some de-escalation in the conflict regarding the legal issue, but it still feels like it's not finished. It still feels like it's going to drag on, possibly into the end of the year, there's going to be a major resolution, and there's going to be um, a major success coming through, possibly by the I feel like this card, the Judgment card, as it relates to like time frame, it usually indicates like the end of a cycle. So usually like the end of the year, which is the December time frame, I feel like there should be a major resolution coming through for you. And with the Hierophant here, I feel like it's saying very favorable outcome for you, especially those of you who have been dealing with custody or health related issues or some type of a medical malpractice issue. Okay, so I feel that it's going to be resolved, and I feel that it looks really good for now. Okay. The other thing that I do sense as well coming through is I just feel like you need to get away to really clear your head. Okay, so this is kind of like feeling a little bit um, it's like having a lot of demands imposed upon us, working a lot. And I want you to be really careful. I got, a lot of health things. Health things is not just physical health, it's also emotional, mental health. If you feel kind of like, even if you're physically able, I feel that emotionally it's going to be a little bit of a heavy month. A lot of things are happening. And so taking some time off to travel, taking a little bit of a trip to clear your mind, to regain your mental stamina and to regain your mental clarity, I feel it's going to be very, very important, okay? And also taking the time to, this is family reunification here. Visit family, spend some time with family, being in a loving, supportive environment, I feel it's going to be very crucial for you as well. So I do feel family communication is going to figure heavily into the picture for this month, and so it's really crucial for you. If you have stressors in your life, relying on family for assistance, I feel it's going to be really good for you, such as childcare, or even such as, whatever that's been really bothering you. I feel that relying on family members, I feel like it's going to be very crucial for you. I'm feeling as well, and obviously this is not going to apply to everybody, but I feel like some of you, there might be some type of surgeries that are scheduled, such as like waiting on a medical diagnosis, lab results, medical prognosis from a surgeon or even from a doctor. And I feel like there might be some surgeries that are happening. I do feel your health is going to be recovered. So this is very, very good medical procedures, possibly like having some things that you need to get a biopsy on, or even having some things that you need to take out. Okay, so I feel like if you are experiencing health issues, I feel like the prognosis looks really good, and I do feel that it's going to resolve itself. You're going to at least get some answers, and it is I mentioned earlier when it comes to self-employment and things like that. Okay, I feel that you are more than you have a lot of skills under your belt. And I also feel as well that you might not feel like you have the adequate mentorship or the adequate, business acumen in order to start things. But they're coming in to really advise you to think about, laying that game plan for yourself. Where am I right now? And where do I need to be? What other opportunities are available for me right now? And if you think of it that way and start, small steps at a time, you are going to have a lot of success. This is overall mental clarity leading to a lot of, I feel like, changes. And I also feel like swift changes that's going to lead to success, okay? And we also have a major arcana card underneath this, Judgment, which indicates new beginnings. So I do feel if you have been feeling kind of like, where have I been held back at work? You are going to take a different direction altogether. And I feel you are going to be able to shift gears into you're going to be able to shift gear into possibly self-employment, or even finding opportunities, or even returning back to school where you can really grow and you can expand and enhance your income generating potential. I'm feeling a lot of people possibly working in the healthcare industry, working in the healthcare industry, you're working a lot of hours. I'm seeing a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, a lot of students as well in the medical profession. Just make sure you cannot neglect your health, okay? So that means in the helping profession, I know that the time, the time constraints, time crunch, and the hectic environment itself. A lot of the times you might forego sleep, forego food in order to help your patients. But you're not going to be of great assistance to anybody if your health is also suffering. So please take care of yourself and just make sure that you be mindful that your body is a catalyst for you to help others. So you need to treat your body well. You need to take care of yourself in order for you to be physically, mentally, emotionally able to help other people, okay? Take it easy for this month, okay, Leos? I want you to have a good time for your birthday as well, but I feel like you want to take things easy and just don't wear yourself out, okay? I'm going to go into your love relationship reading, and let me see what's in store for you guys. So, love, relationship, and romance for... So the Empress is coming out again. So I feel like, pregnancy usually is highly indicated, okay? But let me just see what other cards are associated with it or are tied up with it. Okay, and one last one for the foundation. Okay, so let me talk about the crowning energy. The crowning energy is something that you are thinking about. We have here the Empress, and we have as well the Eight of Wands. Both of these cards indicate very, very strong, like, power of attraction. Okay, the Empress is like basically abundance, beauty, prosperity, and especially really, really liking the way that somebody looks. Okay, and so I feel like there's a lot of attraction coming through for singles or couples. For coupled people, if the attraction is outside of your work environment, or excuse me, if the attraction is outside of your relationship, you want to be, you need to be able to not succumb to the temptation, okay? Because I feel like there's still a lot of opportunities here, and it could be from your end or from your partner's end, but either way, if we're in a relationship and we have other people soliciting us from outside the relationship, we need to be careful. We need to try to do the right thing. And if you are single, I feel like you are doing a lot of online communication or online dating. We have here the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands deals with long distance communication. It deals with remote communication, and it deals with electronic communication. So you have a lot of suitors. You have a lot of people that you're interacting with. And I feel like you are going to be very in high demand for this month. So I see you talking to multiple people, and I see you, forging new alliances, and especially traveling on dates, traveling to meet up with people, and making plans to even travel quite far to see another person. So I feel like there might be a little bit of a geographical distance, not like, outside of the country. I feel like, in the tri-state area, across city lines, across state lines, but it's still travel by, possibly even by air too, but I feel like they're, within like 5 hours flight or 5 hours drive from where you are living. So I feel like there's a lot of electronic communication, especially for those who are single. I feel like you are dating for sure. In the foundation is something that we are thinking about, and something that is I'm sorry, something that you know to be true. It has already come into the picture. First of all, we have you here. This is the King of Wands, very, very excitedly expecting something, feeling very passionate about something, feeling very certain and very, directed, charging towards something. But you're doing it in a way where it's not abrasive, where it's not rush or impulsive. I feel like somebody has really, really stirred your passion, and at least somebody is, it's almost like an opposites attract type of energy, because I feel like you're fascinated by somebody mainly because they're very different, they're very dynamic, and it seems to me like they can, they excite you. And we have as well the Chariot, okay? And the Chariot is majorly about a travel opportunity. Somebody might be hitting you up for a travel. They're just like, hey, I'm going to do this. Do you want to take a major trip with me? And I feel the trip might be overseas if you are traveling with another person. Or you might be traveling locally a little bit of a shorter distance in order to see somebody that you really, really like. And I feel like the efforts are definitely being reciprocated, okay? So those singles and dating, I feel like you are going to have a very good time this month. You're going to run into a lot of exciting people, and you're going to meet, people that are very ambitious, very goal oriented, and people who are really, really clear about what they want out of relationship. I feel like it might not be, they might not just tell you like, oh, let's just get together and see where it goes. I feel like they're going to be very clear. They're going to tell you, I want a relationship, or they're going to tell you, I'm just looking around, I'm just looking for fun. They're going to be very, very clear, and I feel that they're not going to give you the runaround. And likewise, I feel like this energy is sort of like, I'll take what I can get, but I'll, assess long-term viability as a relationship with so and so. So I feel like you're meeting somebody that you are really passionate about. You're meeting somebody who is very, very direct, frank, and clear about what their intentions are. Okay? Which brings us to the present environment. What we have here is the Eight of Cups. So, sorry, the headphone. Okay, so the Eight of Cups, this is a card that basically means sailing away from a situation that is no longer working. So that means physically removing ourselves from an environment that we have invested a lot of time in. And I feel like while you are still emotionally, um, I want to say like emotionally, you're still thinking about a person from the past. You don't really have a choice. You're moving on mainly because you know it wasn't serving your greater good, and it wasn't emotionally satisfying or emotionally fulfilling for you. So you're moving away in the spirit of, wisdom. It's sort of like feeling very alone in a relationship, feeling as if you might have to do that extra push to reach out. And I also feel for many of you, you have been single for a while and you're not really dating. And this is the month where you are doing a little bit more experimental dating, where you feel like, okay, enough's enough. I've been single for a while, so I'm going to start dating. So you are looking around, okay? I feel some of you are a little bit on the shy end. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like you're scoping around like social media, or you're kind of snooping around um, even like, online dating sites, and you're just trying to see what's available, but you're not really making yourself known just yet. So like, there might not be pictures up just yet, but you're still scoping around. For many of you, there was an earth sign here in your past, so a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, and this is their sun, their moon, or their rising sign. And I'm sensing that for many of you, this is a situation where I feel like one person wanted a lot of independence and the other person wanted freedom. And I'm also feeling as well, there might have been some type of a possessiveness in the relationship. It could come from you, it could come from them in the relationship with this earth sign. So this person that is from your past, they are moving on for this month. You are also emotionally moving on. So I feel like, this is a good energy where you both have moved on and you're trying to, start dating, start just moving on with your life. So from both ends, I feel both parties are trying to move on, okay? And what I have here is the Six of Cups, which indicates to me as well that you might be reconnecting or you might be running into this person. And I also feel that you might be in a position where you're running into them in their new dating environment. You might run into your ex with his or her new relationship partner. It's going to be a little bit awkward, and I feel like you're seeing it and you're just like kind of caught off guard, like, do I go up and greet them or do I just pretend they don't exist because they're kind of like on a date with their, new person. I'm also feeling as well that there's going to be communication with that person from your past, an earth sign, okay, a heavy earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And I'm also feeling as well, if you're in a relationship with this person, they have a new relationship partner, but they're contacting you and they're asking you, do you want to get back together? And knowing that they're with another person, I feel it is really important for you to decline the offer. Because if they are doing that to somebody else, they're going to do that to you as well in the future. So you want to be very careful about, re-engaging with somebody that would do that, okay? For some of you, it might not be an earth sign because the offer here is coming through in a way where it's like somebody you've dealt with in the past and they're with somebody else, and they're with somebody else because you have the insight and you're looking on, you're digging deeper into the situation, and you might, wonder like, why are they soliciting me when they're already with another person? So that situation, no, it's not flattering. I feel that it is a little bit sleazy, so you want to be very careful about this offer, okay? It's almost like they're hedging their bets. They're not completely happy. They don't want to be alone, so they're just, revisiting, asking you if you want to be involved with them, even though they're already with somebody else. So you want to be extra, extra careful, okay? Singles, I feel like the month is going to be very good for just be careful about temptation from exes, and especially temptation from people who are already in relationships, okay? So I feel like you might inadvertently be a third party and you might not even know. And I feel that this might be the month where you need to ask those questions. You need to be, you need to scrutinize who you're dealing with, okay? What I'm also feeling as well is for those who are single, you have offers that are coming through, and I feel like you're not really solidifying, taking things to the next level or being exclusive, because we have here the Six of Coins, and the Six of Coins is kind of like in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, this is kind of like the man giving out his pentacles to two different people, okay? So you're dealing with somebody that has a lot of options on the table for them. They're highly desirable. They have multiple suitors that are coming through. And so you need to take it very slowly. You might really like this person, but you feel like, I don't know if I trust them. You might feel like they're a little bit more on the flirtatious end. You might feel like when you communicate with them, they might have attention problems. They might get bored easily, or they might have trouble maintaining the flow in the conversation because their attention is elsewhere. And I feel like you might be digging this person, but you have to really, read body language. You need to be a little bit more careful about doing a little bit of digging, doing a little bit of, online, social media, spying even, to figure out, like, are they just dating you or are they with other people? So I feel a lot of you are going to be doing that, okay? And I also feel that you have somebody, singles or couple, you have somebody that is quite significant that you're trying to get to know, that you really are looking at skeptically, and you're trying to see the viability of the two of you moving forward into something that is a little bit more long-term and a little bit more stable. Okay? A lot later than the other sign, but I still hope it's helpful and it's useful. And I'll be back for the mid-month reading. If you like to book an appointment with me, my website is below in the description box. I'll talk to you guys soon, okay? Take care of yourself, and I'll be back for the mid-month reading. Bye-bye.